in the culture in which we live, success is what it is all about. Winning is what we strive for in our games, in our careers, in our politics. As one successful football coach said it once, he said, winning is not everything. It is the only thing. So everyone wants to be number one. Now, opposed to this idea, to this success-oriented culture, is the Christian culture in which failure can be a success. For example, it might seem that Jesus was the greatest failure of all. He was rejected by the people he came to save. He was deserted by his followers. He was betrayed by one of his disciples for 30 pieces of silver, scourged, crowned with thorns, and crucified. A death so ignominious and disgraceful that Rome would not let one of its citizens suffer such an end. So Jesus chose the weak to conquer the strong, and the foolish to confound the wise. He said, if you want to be first, you have to be last. If you want to save your life, you have to lose it. If you want to be the greatest, be the servant of all. If you want, he said in the Beatitudes, blessed are the poor, those who mourn, the meek, the persecuted, and those who suffer. He lived among the outcasts, tax collectors, and sinners. And he said he came not for the healthy, but for the sick, not for the just, but for the sinner. So it is strange that his disciples, who lived so close to him, would not understand this fact. On at least 3 occasions, he told them that he would have to suffer, die, and be raised on the 3rd day. And they refused to believe him. It is stranger still that we, some 2,000 years later, who begin our prayer with the sign of the cross, wear a crucifix, and celebrate Good Friday, we still don't get it. So, it is not always possible to be successful. In fact, it is not desirable. To live without failure is to live a superficial life. It keeps us from reaching people. We could not be understanding and compassionate because we have never failed. Well, we have never experienced failure. Failure serves us from throwing away the real values of life for the passing tinsel and bubble of this world. Failure makes us realize our need for God and for one another. It gives us intimations of morality, reminding us that we have not here a lasting dwelling place. Failure enriches our lives, makes us sympathetic, understanding, and capable of giving and receiving compassion. The fear of failure keeps us from attempting many good things. But you know, life is a risk. Life is a risk. But without God, we cannot do anything. The fact of the matter is that in the real world, we are all losers. We all are fickle, fallible, sinful human beings with this transcendental neediness of our Creator. Not only is it okay to fail, in most of the cases it could be our greatest achievement. It could bring us to Jesus. So, I mean, you and I know that We have witnessed so many times when people do not get closer to God until they experience failure. So St. Paul says, if I'm going to be proud of something, I'm going to be proud of my cross, through which the world has been crucified to me and I to the world. Christ crucified to the Jews was stumbling block, to the pagans foolishness. But to those who believe, the cross is the power and the wisdom of God. Now, we do not understand, we cannot understand the power of the cross unless we love God. Love is the only thing that can give us the ability to understand why we go through what we go through in life. If we loved God more, we would embrace, as Jesus did, every little cross that comes our way. So that is why Jesus says, if I be lifted up, I will draw all things to myself. El misterio